Hi guys! In the beginning, when God created the world, He made it to be beautiful and perfect. The world in harmony, where people helped and loved each other. But how do you think it is now? Are you guys getting along with each other? Do you know anyone who's being bullied or being a loner? Why do you think that's happening?
Alright. Have you picked a number? So pair up that number and that's your partner, okay? I hope you guys pick good topics and be ready for the presentation by next class. Class dismissed.
Yes!
Man, why him out of everyone else? Lost, who's your partner? You wanna swap?
Huh? No way, dude. I'm with Kingdom. I don't want to work with him.
Then Pride? Come on, swap with me.
What? Forget it, man. You think I'm stupid? He's good for nothing and dumb. No one's gonna swap with you. Pairing up with him is awful. Good luck, Gospel.
Oh, I'm paired up with a loner. I'm gonna be a loner just by being with him.
Hey, Gospel?
What? What?
Gospel, I know we are paired up for the presentation, but, my grandma is sick, so I need to help her out at work. I won't be able to do a lot of work for the presentation. Hope you understand.
What? Help your grandma out with her work? What about your mom and dad? Gospel, he doesn't live with his parents. They are divorced, and he lives with his grandma.
She has a little stand at the open market. That's what he's talking about. Anyways, good luck, Gospel. Come on, Kingdom.
Great, so I get to do all the work? Hey, Hope, let's just get it over with. I don't really want to spend too much time with you. Hurry!
Gospel! Sorry, I think you should go home without Hope today.
What?
Take good care of him, Hope.
Well, take good care of what?
Take care of the bathroom. It was my turn this week, but I'm a bit too busy, you know?
What the... He needs to prepare the presentation with me.
Well, I got dibs on him first. Will that be all right, Hope?
Yeah.
Oh, man, oh... What? Oh! What's going on? Man, whatever, I don't know.
Hi, Gospel.
Oh, Angel Meal.
Gospel, what's going on? Is there a problem?
No, it's nothing. Well, Angel Meal, I have to give a presentation with a partner. I got paired up with this loser, a loner in my class.
Is that right? And you don't like him neither?
Well, I don't really... No one really likes him. And they won't like me if I start hanging out with him. Angel Meal, how come people always pick on weak ones? It happens everywhere. I heard it happens at my dad's office, too.
God is not happy with that.
Yeah, I know. But there's nothing I can do about it.
Gospel, you remember the way Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden? Before they sinned and lost the garden?
Well, yeah, but why?
There were 3 important points in the way Adam and Eve lived in the garden. First, they were beautiful in the way God made them before they sinned. Second, Adam and Eve were very close to God. And third,
They lived loving each other, right?
exactly, Adam and Eve, when they had all of the 5 precious stones of God, they lived helping and loving each other.
Well then, Angel Meal, why is it like this now? If it was like the Garden of Eden, no one would have been left out.
Let's go, Gospel. There's something we need to see. Our Father, good Lord, show us your kingdom. Into the Bible!
Angel Meal, where are we?
Gospel, we are here to see how people lived after they left the Garden of Eden. In the garden, they were able to live the way God made them and enjoy their gifts from God and be happy. But Satan's temptation made them sin against God, and they couldn't live in Eden anymore. And they had to die someday, and their body returned to dirt, and their soul in hell. People became distant from God after their sin. And to get closer to Him, they had to give burnt offering. Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve's sons, gave their offerings to God.
I mean, must I offer an animal to God? Father said that I had to offer a blood of an animal to God. But Abel can do that. I'm a farmer, so I'm going to offer him the grains I harvested. God will like this better, too.
Let me see. Father said that I should sacrifice an animal for my sins, right? This one was the firstborn of the herd that I'm keeping. I'll take this for my offering to God. God, I give you this lamb as a sacrifice for my sin. Please accept in pleasure.
Abel believed that God wants to forgive people one day, and that God will save them one day. You remember when God sacrificed 2 animals to make clothes for Adam and Eve when they were leaving the garden, right? Abel understood that in order to be forgiven of the sin by God, a life had to be sacrificed.
Yeah, Angel Meal, but look over there.
How can this be? God accepted Abel's offering, but not mine. Abel, I will make sure you pay for this.
Angel Meal, what's going to happen?
Listen up, Gospel.
Cain, where is your brother Abel? I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? Cain, you have killed your brother. You will no longer be able to farm. No matter how hard you sow your soil, nothing will grow. You can't live here anymore. Huh? How could you? You're kicking me out of here. If I leave, I will never meet God again, and I'll be a wanderer. All the people on my way will harm me. That won't happen, Cain. If they hurt you, it will be done to them in 7 folds.
Cain killed Abel. But still, God let him live and promised him to protect him from harm. But Cain left God and lived by his own rules.
Ugh, God, whatever. Now I live by my rules. I'm going to be strong and rule over everything. Only the strong gets everything. I'll get it all.
And Cain's descendants lived the way he lived.
Need to be strong on my own. Anyone who harms me, I will harm them in 70-fold.
So began the world where the strong one rule over the weak. Strong ones pick on the weak. And the rich keep taking from the poor just to be more rich. And there were many who no longer worshipped God.
Angel Meal, it's just like the way people live now.
That's right. People now are living in the way of Cain's heart. It's the way of devil's heart.
The devil? You mean Satan?
Right. It's Satan's wicked trick that made people lose their peaceful life in the Garden of Eden. Satan enjoys when people are miserable and live in pain. He loves to see the miserable people make other people miserable.
So we are living the way Satan loves?
Right, Gospel. But the people living in Satan's way face the judgment day in the end. God had made the great flood to judge the Cain's descendants who lived without God. Just the same, people who live in Satan's way now will be judged by fire on the last day. Gospel, God is not going to let people ruin themselves living miserably with Satan.
You mean God will help us, right?
Of course. God gave us God's way to live in His words. He is teaching us how we should live. Gospel. God wants people to live loving and helping each other, just like they did in the Garden of Eden. He wants the weak to be free, and that's God's will.
God's will?
Well, knowing God's will is very important. Let's listen to Jesus.
You must love God with all your heart and all your might, and love your neighbors like yourself. This is the most important of God's words.
Just like Jesus' words, the Bible is filled with the stories of the people who knew God's will and loved others accordingly. They were happy following God's will. Gospel, think about how to live in God's will, just like the ones in the Bible. Living with others, respecting, and caring for others. Then there won't be any friends who will be sad because they were weak and poor, right? Then it will be a heaven where everyone is happy.
Yeah, you were right, Angel Meal. But you really think that's it? You don't think we'll get picked on every day?
No, I don't, Gospel. People of the world may think that way, but God's people must not think like that. The happiest way is to live in God's words. It may not be easy, but God will always help you.
God will help?
Yes. God wants people to love and help each other.
Angel Meal, look! It's heaven!
Right, Gospel. This is the everlasting heaven, where God's rule is complete. God's way of love is recovered from Satan's mess from Eden.
That means there's no one left out to be a loner or bullied.
Right, Gospel. That's exactly what God wants. But many people don't know God's will and choose to live by the rules of the world like Cain's descendants. They think that's the best way to live. But they are being tricked by Satan.
I see. I was thinking wrong too. I feel really bad about hope.
Gospel. People who know about God's law must live with God's words, and they must tell others about it, so that others can know God's order and make the right choice. In that way, people will leave the wrong way they were living, like Cain, and they will learn to live in God's way.
In God's way? Loving and helping each other? Angel Meal, let's get back. I need to stop by my school.
All right, Gospel, let's get going.
Ah, back at school. Thank you, Angel Meal. Is Hope all done with cleaning the bathroom? Hope, are you still cleaning? Here, I'll help.
Sure. Thanks.
Hope, I'm sorry for being a jerk earlier. It won't happen again.
Hey, are you making fun of me?
No, that's not it. I learned about living in God's way. The really happiest way to live.
Living in God's way? What are you talking about? What is it, anyway?
Right. God doesn't want us just to pick on each other and bully each other. He wants us to live helping and respecting each other. So, it's wrong to pick on someone just because they are weaker. That's God's way.
You sure you can say the same thing to Pride and the other kids in the class, too?
Sure. I'll say it to them. I'm really sorry to leave you out. I won't do that anymore. I promise.
Thanks, Gospel. Let's get going. And that God's way thing, can you tell me more about that? I want to tell my grandma about that, too.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you all about it. So, see? God, in the beginning, created the world. So Adam and Eve were the first people God made. But God